Like the low-cost airlines before them, short-term letting apps like Airbnb are making travel more affordable for people. They get to stay in interesting places and, as the slogan says, live like a local.
Wherever you go, don't go there. Live there.
And if property owners can make a few quid too, well, who's complaining? Actually, quite a lot of people. As we've seen from taxi apps like Uber, the sharing economy isn't always without its downside. In terms of short-term letting apps like Airbnb, the evidence is that it's starting to have a profound impact in some local housing markets and on the experience of some local people.
Wembley last Friday night. Police have been called to what is normally a quiet street. There are reports of fights in the middle of the road and a house party that spiralled out of control. A 16-year-old was arrested and charged with 3 counts of assaulting a police officer. The house belongs to May Wong. She had rented out her property to an Airbnb user who said that she wanted to go to the nearby Adele concert. The next morning, May returned home to find her house had been turned upside down. We caught up with her on Sunday, after the cleaners had already spent several hours inside the house. So May, you walked into your house on Saturday morning and you saw this. Tell me what you saw.
Well, it was worse, much worse than this. I mean, the carpet over here was stained with vomit all up and down the stairs. It was broken glass, beer bottles all over, broken. I had a cupboard here, a glass cupboard with a mirror. Over there, you can see the mirror thing. Yeah. Blocking the safe. Yeah. That's gone. I've got 4 panelings, you can see, 4 kind of panels, Chinese ceramics. That was gone.
Well, they had stolen them. They were missing.
Missing. I've got
and there's stains on your wall here as well.
Yes, there's stain on the wall, my wall.
And you've had the carpets all ripped out.
And over here, I've got a great ancestral table, mother of pearl, and I think
a family heirloom.
Yes, that's gone. It's here.
And it was taken. It was stolen.
I've got a picture of it. Yeah, I've got it here. Yeah, the carpets were stained, and I mean, this is not too bad now. You know, things are all over. Glass. There's still a few glasses here. Beer bottles all over.
And you've had cleaners here since?
I had cleaners, myself and the cleaner. We were working since 7:30, 8 o'clock.
And of course, down here I can see tissues covered in what appeared to be blood.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Yes. And apparently they brought their own hi-fi system.
Oh, this was something they left?
Yes.
So they appear to have taken things from your house but left...
Well, I think they had a big party, so they need a big hi-fi system.
Anything else taken from you?
Well, there's a television on top of that, gone.
So your television's missing as well?
It's a flat screen television, it's gone.
How much do you estimate all of this costing to replace?
I've no idea. I mean, that is kind of priceless. You can't buy it.
It was handed down to you?
Yes, even the paneling, the Chinese paneling. I mean, I've got photos of it. I mean, all these you can count, the television, the carpet, you can price it, but not those things.
So you're not sure whether your insurance will even cover all of this? And how about with Airbnb? What response have you had from them?
Well, my son did phone them a few times and the response hasn't been very good.
There's obviously thousands of pounds of damage here.
I mean, this is only one room. Every single room. Every single room.
Yeah, you've got
you can
carpets
see the
missing, electronics
yeah,
missing.
You can see the mattress outside. A king-size mattress is stained. And the glass.
So this is obviously going to cost you many thousands of pounds to replace and repair this house.
Yeah.
How much money did you receive from Airbnb to rent out this house for that night?
Probably less than 100.
Less than £100?
A night.
How long have you lived in this house?
About 30 years.
Your home of 30 years absolutely turned upside down by strangers?
By strangers, with no respect of people's property. You know, I mean, why do they want to steal things like that?
It's been going on for a couple of years now, and it has got to the point recently where we've wanted to move away from it.
This neighbour of a busy short-term let flat in London doesn't want to be identified because she's frightened of repercussions.
There's just no feeling of security. You don't know who's around you. You don't know that when you come home at night you're going to get a good night's sleep. It's just irritating when you're just dropping off to have a sudden reminder, oh yeah, your neighbours are Airbnb, they're back now, they're going to keep you awake.
Getting complete data from Airbnb is extremely hard, but we've analysed the website to find how many hosts let out more than one entire home. That may be an indication that they're operating as a business. In London, we found 12,428 entire homes run by multi-listing hosts. That's 37.5% of all entire Airbnb homes in the city. Some of the businesses seem huge. London's top 10 hosts ran a total of 1,634 entire home listings between them. It's possible to construct vast portfolios of property in this way, creating virtual hotels complete with a check-in desk. It's dusk in London's Brick Lane. It's one of the most popular night spots in the capital. It's where groups of people come for a curry and a night out. And it's also one of the hotspots for Airbnb. There are lots of properties listed around here, many of them run by the same landlords. I've checked in to one, or at least I've booked it. I've been emailed some instructions of how I have to check in. I have to go and pick up the keys from a shop, which is, I think, just down here. When I got there, the shop, well, it didn't feel like a regular shop. More like just a guy sat behind a desk with a big ledger in front of him with all the bookings for different places. My name was on there, he checked my ID, he gave me the keys, he gave me the instructions how to get there. Let's see what we booked. So here we are. This is what we've booked. Floor's a bit creaky, but apart from that, it looks very nice, really. Seems very good value. In fact, it says in the welcome folder that the entire building, 9 flats, are available from the same Airbnb hosts. But whatever this place is, it clearly isn't somebody's home. This place has been kitted out. The whole building has been kitted out for guests. It's a hotel. The attractions are obvious. Unlike residential properties, mortgages on holiday lets qualify for mortgage interest tax relief, and the returns can be 2 or 3 times as big as conventional letting. So much so that instead of buy-to-let, people are now setting up hugely lucrative rent-to-let businesses.
In recent years, companies like Airbnb have totally transformed the tourism industry by making it easy for people to rent out their homes to visitors. Here in the capital, hosts are usually restricted to hiring out their properties for 90 nights a year. But an undercover investigation by BBC London has revealed that large management companies are advising landlords on how to break the law and dupe both the authorities and Airbnb. Guy Lynn has this exclusive report.
Swathes of London are turning into hotels, run as commercial operations, and it's feared exacerbating the housing crisis. Which is why short letting, such as on Airbnb, is highly restricted. The law in London on short-term lets is crystal clear. If you own a property like this one, unless you have planning permission, you're not allowed to short let it for more than 90 days per year. Once, Airbnb was mainly about hosts renting out a spare room or their flat for a few days. Now, more and more, it's big business, with a growing army of managing agents who will do it all for you.
Hi, how you doing?
Fran's firm manages nearly 2,000 properties. They deal with the tourists, check them in and out, similar to this. And he's been asked many times by landlords to go over the legal limit, and always says the same thing.
We explain to them that you're not allowed to let your property out on a short-term basis for more than 90 days a calendar year. We point out the legislation that's in place and make it very clear that they're not allowed to do it.
But we've heard numerous reports other management firms are selling a different story.
I brought with me like a checklist so you can have a look.
We're undercover, posing as a landlord who wants to rent this flat out to tourists.
There's going to be an account manager that's going to be looking after you.
And these agents are here for reviewing and say we can rake in large amounts per night.
You know, 190 in July, maybe 170 in June and August.
And the 90-day rule doesn't appear to be much of an obstacle.
Officially, no. You shouldn't do after 90 days. Unofficially, you could.
It's not you shouldn't really do it, but everyone does it, so...
Most people ignore it.
So why is the 90-day law in place? On any day, thousands of homes in London are being let out to tourists via apps like Airbnb. The law would apply to all short lets, however they're arranged, including a host of other sites separate to Airbnb. So it restricts noise and disruption.
To sum it up, it would be it's impossible to find somewhere in central London.
And the 90-day law also helps preserve the housing stock for long-term rentals. Helen is a nurse on a low income, who's desperately been trying to find an affordable flat for more than a year near her central London hospital. The removal of thousands of homes for tourists is, many fear, pushing up prices on the rental homes remaining.
It's not fair that these properties are being used in the way that they are for short-term lettings and almost as hotels. For those of us who are trying to live and work in London, we are being priced out. We are having to move further and further away from our jobs.
It's extremely difficult for councils to enforce the 90-day rule. And Airbnb came under political pressure to take action. Their software now stops anyone from unlawfully short-letting. An inbuilt counter starts the moment a property is listed. When 90 days are up, you're blocked from short-letting it out anymore. So, all fine then.
We do a new listing for you, we delist this one, start from scratch again.
Hostmaker is one of the larger operators on the market and rather proud of their service. But they say they'll help us dupe Airbnb. Once you've done your 90 days on the flat, what they'll do is take new pictures and pretend it's a new listing. So you'll just get another 90 days.
We will do fresh photos. If you use existing photographs, Airbnb's algorithm kind of tracks it as the same property. Everything new, and then your 90 days tick off, we'll start from scratch again.
This lady advised us to change the address slightly for the scam to work really well.
So if you have, let's say, address, you know, the apartment number 1, just don't put number 1 and then you won't be able to match the address.
And they'll keep going all year round. The manager knows we'll be breaking the law, but if challenged, says they can remove the listing.
If you do get some, you know, notification or letter that you've been found to be doing it, we just take it off. It takes 5 minutes. Feign ignorance, basically.
They are misinforming and misleading the people that they are dealing with by suggesting to them that what they're doing is not unlawful. It is, and it should stop.
But this is far from the only trick. There are a number of other sites like HomeAway, TripAdvisor, Expedia, all offering similar services to Airbnb to short-let out houses and flats to tourists and visitors.
If you want to stop at 90 days, we can stop at 90 days. If you want to go above, you know, we can help you go above.
So if you'd rather not risk Airbnb's systems, City Relay just advertise on loads of other sites at the same time.
We'll never do more than 90 days on Airbnb, but you will get bookings from booking.com, you'll get bookings from HomeAway, you'll get bookings from TripAdvisor. Might be 180 days in the end, 200 days.
It doesn't matter what site you do it on, it's the fact that you have short let for more than 90 nights in aggregate. All you're really doing, of course, is hiding from the enforcement officers because it is more difficult for them to track your property across different sites.
And that could be storing up a whole host of problems. Customers could face serious legal consequences, including formal planning action. Non-compliance with that is a criminal offence. So do they tell anyone that? Do they, heck?
We never heard anyone getting caught. And we've had people who have received notice to stop. And that's, I think, the extent of the risk.
The worst that could happen is the listing 2 would be like busted and get deactivated, but we never got any threats or, you know, calls or anything.
I mean, we've done it, a lot of our hosts have done it, it's not been a problem.
And what's striking about our investigation is the scale. We heard reports of many other management companies doing exactly the same thing.
The blocks, the streets are almost becoming arms of the hospitality industry.
Karen Buck is an MP in Westminster, which is particularly affected by short-term lets. She says she's heard anecdotally that this is happening before, but says this is the first time that anyone has documented it in action.
Companies that apparently know what the rules are and are telling people, you don't need to worry, we can find ways around these rules, there are ways around these rules. It is absolutely shocking. It undermines everything we were told about how short-let accommodation would work, and it's really deeply dispiriting.
The BBC asked companies why they were helping and encouraging customers to break the law. There was no response from Guest Ready. Airkey denied they break the law. We wholly and absolutely refute such claims. We comply with all legal requirements, they said. City Relay said if clients wanted a short let for more than 90 days per year, we explained to them that they would need to seek planning permission. And Hostmakers said they were committed to following regulations and that they took the allegations very seriously and will immediately conduct a full internal investigation, reviewing our systems and guidance. There are many landlords who hate the 90-day rule, seeing it as unwanted interference and regulation. But the scale of what we've exposed leaves one asking, is it currently fit for purpose in a city grappling with an acute housing shortage?
Airbnb declined our request for an interview, but said they already go far further than any other platform in making sure their listings comply with the law. This may not be much comfort to those trapped on the other side of the wall or the floor or the ceiling from a succession of fleeting guests.
I'm nervous that it's just going to turn into a strange hotel situation in all the blocks without any regulation or protection for the rest of us.
Really, it feels like your block is changing.
I am concerned that as we see this go on, if nothing changes, the block will just turn into a hotel. Who can stop it?
This is what a real hotel looks like, regulated to have minimal impact on locals, because, however welcome to a city, short-term visitors don't make great neighbours.
Well, let's hear what Airbnb said. They gave us a statement. It says, "We're good partners to London and have introduced automated hosting limits to help ensure home sharing is good news for everyone and that growth is responsible and sustainable. We're pleased to lead our industry on this matter and urge policymakers to ensure other platforms act responsibly in London before reopening the rule book."
But May's story is not unique. By the company's own statistics, some 2,700 landlords reported property damage in 2016. Airbnb says they'll insure damage of up to £600,000. But their website also stipulates that items like jewellery, collectibles and artwork aren't covered. The company has declined our invitation for an interview about what happened to May's home, but they have given us the following statement.
"We have zero tolerance for this kind of behaviour. We are supporting the host and have removed the guest from Airbnb. There have been over 200 million guest arrivals in Airbnb listings, and negative incidents like this are incredibly rare."
We